2nd of January. The victim was, Ms. Jackson was last heard from by family. Then sometime after that, she went missing. Her 3-month-old child was located in Breckenridge Hills on the 4th and has been placed into state custody where the child is safe and being taken care of right now. Since then, the investigation has moved forward. The victim's vehicle was located in the city of St. Louis. That vehicle was then taken to St. Louis County's crime lab relative to the original missing persons report. The detective from Breckenridge Hills was able to obtain a search warrant to get inside the vehicle, which is probably the best practice when you want to get inside a vehicle. The owner isn't there to offer consent. This way you may not lose any evidence that might be discovered. And it was upon the execution of that search warrant that they discovered the victim's remains inside the vehicle. At that time, homicide detectives from St. Louis City began working jointly with detectives from Breckenridge Hills, and we're currently following up on a number of leads at this time. But as always, we encourage anyone who has any information regarding this incident, anyone who might have seen Ms. Jackson in town this past week, to please contact CrimeStoppers so we have an opportunity to talk to them about what they might know. However, how important they might think it is, it could be very important. Actually, it was scheduled to begin this morning, but it has not yet begun. We hope that they'll get to that autopsy today, and we should be able to hear, if not today, then tomorrow, manner or means of death.
Was there anything obvious to suggest what the cause of death was?
Right now, we're going to wait on that. There are signs of trauma to the victim. We will have more information after the autopsy is complete. That still may be held. This is an open investigation. We won't want to reveal anything that may hurt the case as we try to move forward.
What about the reward? Is there a reward for probation that leads to an arrest or conviction in this case?
Right. CrimeStoppers offers a reward to anyone who provides information that leads to an arrest and conviction. So if people are contacting CrimeStoppers, if they leave their information with them and the case is resolved, then they're able to receive a reward through CrimeStoppers. But the police department, no agency actually, is a part of that process.
The Piedmont police chief was out today. He's still out there right now collecting money. Are you aware of this? And are you going to be using, they're planning on giving it to your agency, are you going to be using that money that is in fact collected as a reward for anyone who leads to information that leads to an arrest or conviction?
I had heard from a representative from CrimeStoppers that they had seen that story. So what will happen is we'll contact that agency, let them know to forward any funds that they might receive.
That they feel like your department maybe dropped the ball in the beginning of this. Is there anything you can say in response to that?
You know, this whole thing started out with a baby showing up on her doorstep. The first 24 hours of the investigation was trying to come up with some kind of certainty about who the parents of the child were. So going from Friday morning into Saturday morning, when the father showed up from Oklahoma City to have a conversation with us, we were trying to get settled for absolute certainty who the mom was, who the dad was, and trying to put together what the facts and circumstances were to the whole situation. We really didn't have any leads on the mom. Basically, our best lead was the vehicle, and it came to our attention that there was a possibility that there was a GPS tracking system put on the car by the dealership. So we started launching an investigation into trying to find out what information we could about that, and we tried to get the mother to access as much of that information as we could because she was the registered owner of the vehicle. And sometimes people are willing to talk to the owner of something more than they are the police department. Well, that resulted in a dead end. So our next step was that we needed to apply for legal action through the court to try to get them to activate that identification beacon to let us know where the location of the car was. So being that it's falling on the weekend and it's Saturday and you're dealing with an out-of-state company and you're dealing with another company that basically runs the financing and another company that runs their legal department, there was a lot of wrangling that had to be done. And people weren't always available to answer our calls and our inquiries. So it appeared, in part from the information that we gathered from the mother, that the best time to contact them was going to be Monday morning, which is what we did, which started the whole process of trying to get the legal paperwork filed through St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office to give us the ability to get that beacon information so that we could find out where the car was. That information did not come, unfortunately, until Tuesday morning. So the paperwork was all filed, but you got different parts of the country that are involved in it under different time zones, and there's not always somebody that's sitting at a desk waiting for that fax. The cell phone records are still currently in the process of trying to get a subpoena to retrieve that information. That is going on as we speak right now. So,
In between the time that you guys found the car and obtained the search warrant, was there any reason for you to believe that the remains were in the car, or did that come as a surprise after you obtained it?
well, you know, there's a couple of different possibilities. We didn't know who had dropped the baby off. We didn't know if it was the mother that had dropped the baby off. We didn't know if it was somebody else that had dropped the baby off. We had contacted the father and talked to him. We knew that the family was unaware of the whereabouts of her. The key to the whole investigation was to try to locate the mother, one way or the other, to find out what she had to say about the situation. So whether she was missing, or whether she was in danger, or whether she was just actively being sought as a suspect in the abandonment of the child, locating her was the entire focus of our investigation from day one. So the way you go looking for people when they come up missing, whether you want them for in commission of a crime or whether you want them because they're nowhere to be found and they need to be found, is pretty much a great similarity. We used the media. Her picture was put out, I believe, by the family, so everybody got to see her image and know what she looked like. We were trying to get information garnered through the phone system to be able to figure out anybody that had any leads that they could give us. So, I mean, the effort was put into it. We weren't not doing our job. We were very much doing our job, and we were putting a great deal of effort into it. Unfortunately, Breckenridge Hills is not a large police department, so we don't have somebody that can sit around and always answer the telephone when somebody is calling in and asking questions, because we may be out on the street following up leads, typing up search warrants, doing our end of the investigation to find out the information that we need to be able to get the process done. So, unfortunately, I believe that, in my best guess, we should have been keeping a little bit better touch with the family as to where we were and how we were progressing, and I think this is the miscommunication that was
Know
referred
that
to.
we have all that information, but because it is an open investigation and that's going to be an important part of the timeline, but we're going to hold on to that information.
How much of that GPS data is it telling you?
It's providing some information which is going to turn into some leads that we're going to follow up on. But again, because it's open and it's an important piece of the evidence, the investigation, we're going to hold on to that.
Do you believe that she was killed somewhere else and the car was brought there to be left?
It's a possibility. We're open to anything. We're not sure where it occurred, but the Breckenridge Hills and the city homicide detectives are working very hard to find out where it might have occurred, what might have led up to it, so we can provide some kind of closure and answers for the family.
Captain Zach, do you have any words of encouragement for the family who is seeking justice?
Well, just that our detectives are committed to every single case that we get. Regardless of the number that comes in every year, our detectives work very hard, we're very committed, we'll put in as many hours as is necessary. I was just telling the chief that the detective who has this particular case is one of our best, and it just so happens it came up to Jerome. We have the utmost confidence in him, and I'd encourage the family to see that we are committed to finding answers that they're looking for.
Chief, what about you? Do you have any words of encouragement for the family?
I'm always encouraged when an active investigation is going on and the attention is being paid, and I appreciate the fact that the media has taken such a high interest in this story because it puts it in the forefront of people's minds. Hopefully we can get a hold of somebody out there who would be willing to call and provide any information whatsoever, and we can't stress enough, doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter how insignificant, if you have anything that you think might relate to this case on any kind of a level, please call CrimeStoppers. Was recovered and sent off to the Ball Hospital. There was not a whole lot of evidence that was available at the scene to indicate anything that would have really led us anywhere. The big information that we were trying to garner at that point in time is who are the parents. And then again, that's where the media stepped in and provided the photograph on the news, which ultimately led to us finding out who the parents were. So,
What's the latest on the father, the paternity test, and the custody of the baby?
I can tell you that the latest information I have gotten is that the father is still in St. Louis, that they were waiting for the results of the paternity test, and I was informed that that test result would be available tomorrow. So that's my information that I have. Family court might have additional information on it, but that's what I've been given. So.
Thank you, guys.